In this video, we are going to talk about the greatest nuclear disasters in human history. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. Nuclear disasters can have long-term consequences that can endure thousands of years. After reactor accidents and waste storage breaches, nuclear technology produces radioactive waste which comes into contact with humans and the environment. The nuclear disaster of Chernobyl, Fukushima, and Kyshtym were the worst. There are about 437 nuclear power facilities around the world, so there will be likely issues from time to time. Small incidents happen and can be fixed, but large ones can have a terrible implication. People may have higher cancer rates as a result of a nuclear disaster, and future generations may be affected by genetic anomalies. Furthermore, radiations in the environment has the potential to harm plant growth and kill animals. The number of deaths and illnesses caused by a nuclear disaster, on the other hand, is difficult to track and is sometimes disputed. On the International Nuclear Event Scale, each nuclear disaster has been assigned a level. It's referred to as INES. Here is a list of the greatest nuclear disasters. Let's start. Number 1. Chernobyl Ukraine, 1986, Level 7. It is one of the deadliest nuclear disasters in history. It was constructed roughly 65 miles north of Kyiv, Ukraine in the late 1970s. Chernobyl was one of the largest and the oldest nuclear power plants in the world. In April 1986, there was an explosion and a subsequent meltdown. An explosion happened during testing, resulting in 9 days of flames and radioactive emissions. The radioactive spill resulted in 31 deaths right away, and an estimated 4,000 deaths thereafter. Soviet officials sought to conceal the disaster, but Swedish radiation monitoring stations more than 800 miles from Chernobyl recorded radiation levels that were 40% higher than the normal. The atomic bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima, Nagasaki delivered a lot of radiation into the environment. People are still prohibited from entering the Chernobyl disaster exclusive zone, which has an 18.6-mile radius. There are lakes, woods, and spooky abandoned structures, like theaters and shopping malls in this zone. Concerns concerning birth defects and food poisoning among those who were exposed are still present today. Chernobyl's remaining operating reactors were shut down in 2000, and the facility was officially closed. Number 2. Fukushima, Japan, 2011, Level 7. The Fukushima nuclear accident, which occurred in 2011, is the second worst nuclear disaster in history. It had 6 boiling water reactors and was built between 1971 and 1979. Only reactors from 1 to 3 were operational during the incident. In 2011, Japan experienced its greatest powerful earthquake. The backup generators at the Fukushima's Daiichi nuclear power plant were destroyed by tsunami waves. All 3 reactors that were still running, on the other hand, were successfully shut down. The loss of power caused cooling system to fail within the first few days of the disaster. Due to increased residual heat within each reactor's core, the fuel rods in reactors overheated and partially melted down, resulting in the emission of radiations at times. There were no immediate deaths as a result of the nuclear disaster. The explosions, on the other hand, injured at least 16 workers and exposed hundreds of people departing their home. The disaster at the Fukushima nuclear power plant is a Category 7 disaster. Tens of thousands of people will be needed over the next 30 to 40 years to safely remove nuclear waste, fuel rods, and over 1 million tons of radioactive water from the site. However, some people have decided not to return owing to radiation concerns. Number 3. Kyshtym, Russia. 1957, Level 6. Following World War II, the Soviet Union created hundreds of covert sites. Many of them were built swiftly and shortly to boost their nuclear arsenal. The Mayak nuclear fuel processing plants in the Russian town of Ozyorsk is one of them. On September 29, 1957, a nuclear waste storage container burst, exposing 22 communities to severe levels of radiation. It took a week for the 10,000 individuals in the impacted zone to be relocated, because the facility was shrouded in secrecy. They had no explanation for their sudden and permanent exclusion. By that time, there had been reports of mysterious ailments including skin sluggish away from exposed body parts. According to estimates, 200 people died of cancer as a result of their exposure to radiation. Hundreds of others may have been affected by the same illnesses. The Mayak disaster was identified with Kyshtym, a nearby town, because Ozyorsk did not appear on any official maps at that time. Number 4. 3 Mile Island Accident, USA. 1979, Level 5. On March 28, 1979, it happened, when large amounts of nuclear reactor coolant leaked from reactor number 2 at the nuclear generating station near Harrisburg. The incident happened while attempting to contain the situation. Control room technicians made many errors, and by early AM, the core had heated to about 4,000 degrees, just 1,000 degrees short of meltdown. As the facility began to fill with radioactive vapors, word of the calamity went over the world. Because the leak was not discovered right away, a lengthy problem-solving session and a delay in damage management were required. Employees at the plant were able to rectify the difficulties on March 31, putting an end to the threat of the meltdown. There were no deaths or injuries reported. Reactor 2 was so badly damaged that it was never used again. The first reactor is still functioning. It will, however, be decommissioned in 2019. The tragedy also shattered public trust in nuclear power in the United States, generating demonstration and boosting awareness of the significance of state and local emergency prepared. Number 5. Windyscale Fire, Sellafield, UK. 1957, Level 5. The first nuclear reactor in the United Kingdom was named Windyscale. It was built in northwest England in the late 1940s. Employees performing routine maintenance at the massive complex noticed rising. On October 10, 1957, the reactor's uranium-filled graphite core had caught fire. According to further investigation, it had probably been burning for 2 days, releasing dangerous toxins into the atmosphere. Plant operators risked their lives to combat the flame with cooling fans, carbon dioxide, and water, while the reactor was on the point of collapsing. On October 12, the fire was finally put out. However, a radioactive cloud had already swept throughout the UK and Europe. The radiation contained iodine-131, an isotope known to cause thyroid cancer. Studies, on the other hand, Windyscale fire and cancer rates have proven contradictory. While there were no excavation, the sale of milk from the affected region was halted for over a month. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.